Hello everybody, and welcome to the new UK radio show, Kevin's Cosmic Capers. My name is Kevin Smith, and I have a few things to share with you. So, the creational matrix structure is thus: 5 levels: the physical, astral, causal, mental, and the ethereal. A deep, dark border representing a crossover point, which, incidentally, you can only successfully navigate through if a real universal guide is in attendance and accompanying you. It's possible for individuals to reach the dark border on their own merits. It is the conquering of the lower levels and the vehicles that correspond, the mind and emotions. And beyond the border lies the real universes of light and sound, an ever-expanding true reality of the is, seemingly without end or limitation. And it is awareness that is earned that will qualify an individual to be taken across the deep dark border and into the real universes beyond. It's also a decision and choice everyone must make. It is everyone's real intent, after all, to recognize this true reality and be with the isness, which we all are already, if we did but recognize it. In the meanwhile, we have our personal literal selves, and we always will, until we need them no longer, and they fade away. We only require them until such time as we have utilized the 5 vehicles to experience all that is necessary in creation, to recognize the true reality through comparison. Once accomplished, once we recognize the reality of the is and stand real with it, we no longer need creation, and the vehicles the real us have created to experience within them, and we are then real beings of freedom with the real universal guides. Unless we operate within the creational matrix as a guide does, animating vehicles in the various psych realms for the purposes of bestowing sharings and awareness stimulating assistance. But having become with the is, one then can delve and dip in and out of creation as he or she sees fit, and will not exact cause and effect karma, because to be standing real with the is has us beyond karma, it no longer applies. I suppose it's possible for an individual to, having reached the real universes, to return to creation and decide to play about more so there, to possibly become a corrupting influence and disconnect from their real selves and be in creation once more. I imagine this very unlikely, by all accounts. Once being and perceiving the is as a real being of light, no one would surely forsake such a position and return to the restriction of cause and effect creation. But I'm sure every scenario, every action, decision and position has been occupied and played out at one stage or another. And in the meantime then, we have our 5 vehicles and the 5 life levels, only literally at any rate, as in fact everything is an isness, and there is no separation of levels, and it's a case of recognizing that too. But the personal, literal explanations are needed to share and present the information. Depending on the degree of awareness dictates the extent to which we are aware of these other vehicles, the extent then to which we have them under control, and ultimately get each of the vehicles focused on the real intent, and that being to recognize and be with the is. A completely unaware individual, then, will be oblivious to all the other life levels and vehicles. They will, of course, have dreams and real-side experiences, but will not appreciate them for what they are, or what they represent. And so, with their focus fully on the physical and astral, as the unaware generally are emotionally driven, their other vehicles will be running about and doing their own things. They will be living their own lives and getting up to all kinds of shenanigans. The extent to which they do is proportionate to the connection to the individual's awareness. Even with a degree of awareness, the other life level vehicles may be rogues and not on board completely with the real intent and recognition of the is. Until such time as we become aware enough, our intent set, will we have these vehicles under control, and even should they veer off and do funny things and chase a few distractions, the real intent is still set, and we recognize the distractions for what they are. And we are not derailed as a result. We always can re-establish our track and continue on. But at the beginning of one's process, it's easy to see how the distractions seem so very large and colourfully appealing, literally seeming to be bigger than life itself. So a precarious time is the start of our isness journeys. Then, as moments go by, the distractions seem less delightful, and even if we entertain them, they do not hold a candle to being in the nowness, to be standing real, and all the experiences and adventures that stem from that. There's nothing in creation that compares to what can be experienced on the process of becoming more aware. The real side dream experiences I have had are a testament to that. And everyone who sings the new you song and makes the real connection to the true light reality will acknowledge this, as the real side beckons, and adventures like no other unfold. But without the focus, without reining in the other vehicles and getting them under control, they can be sneaky, peculiar in their activities, and also very programmable. On the real side, with awareness lacking, individuals will not exercise control over their other life-level vehicles. They can moderate their behaviour on the physical level only. On the physical level, everyone has little personal impulses and drives, and were we unable to consciously control these, everyone would be running rampant. Generally, people will keep themselves at least passably socially acceptable, with exceptions, psychopaths and serial killers, etc. But people are only able to tamper down their impulses on the physical level, as this is the only level of life they are aware of, and the only vehicle then they can regulate. The unaware masses, therefore, will have their other vehicles unleashed on the other life levels, free rein to do as they please, and thus they will. This is why we say the real side reveals a person's true intent, attitudes, and way of being, because a person is laid bare, They are not hiding behind a fake constructed persona, or holding their impulses at bay, due to being oblivious of their other selves. So, to determine an individual for who they truly are, find them on the real side, and you may soon discover that lovely, charming individual across the street is a maniacal, unhinged and twisted critter. The mask is gone, and a leering face lurks beneath. Interestingly, I was considering that with severely lacking awareness, if the focus then is entirely on the physical and the other life-level vehicles are running amok or doing whatever they do, what would happen should the focus be removed, even from the physical? As the world is becoming far more technological, everyone is being gradually robotized, the evidence clear to see. The technology humans are interfacing with are connections to other dimensions that either the controllers have created or individuals have through their combined focus on these gadgets and gizmos, and the curious worlds of reality they provide. All the computer games are actual worlds and dimensions created by the controllers as distractions from awareness, and maintained, perpetuated, and actualized and enforced by the billions of individuals interacting with them. If people become fully robotized, it is predicted they will be locked into a virtual reality also. And even though this may sound appealing to the little personal self, it will make it exceedingly difficult to become more aware and make the connection to the real awareness. So we'd have effectively a virtual reality within the simulated matrix we already are in. The simulation essential for experiential purposes, and set up by the ears, and is a training simulator for that reason. Everyone generally being focused in the physical astral only, with their other selves running about out of control, until such time as they have enough experience to graduate and be assisted then by guides for the opportunity to begin positioning themselves with the ears. But what of being in a virtual reality within the ears created matrix experience simulator? Now the focus may even switch from the physical and astral into this new technological reality, courtesy of the controllers who created it. In a sense, then, a new life level is created, one beneath, literally speaking, even the physical life level, a new rock bottom. And I have had dreams where I've seen countless worlds where robots are the only forms of life, or vehicles that are available for the individuals who find themselves in such worlds. Lonely robot animals, created, forgotten, and roaming about. One of these little robot creatures approached me. Its personal self was curious, its real self motivating it to do so for the experience it would receive. If it recognized it as such, and the significance of the encounter, then a guide came and set the individual free, releasing it from the robotic body, as it had been effectively trapped in it for who knew how many centuries. Imagine being stuck in a robot body that was practically eternal. If your awareness was lacking, you could be then frozen in place and never able to progress, awareness speaking, until something intervened to set you free, and you could then move onto the next position. In this case, a guide came and did just this, explaining how these robots were created and were originally organic animals, their creators long dead, and now their little creations were roaming about aimlessly, like the robots in Stephen King's book, The Dark Tower. Of course, we assume the positions we do through the choices we make. Individuals become so rigid in their self-convinced contentions, so fixed in their fossilized attitudes, and clinging rigidly onto what they think in their minds life is, that they can wind up becoming robots. So frozen are they with their decided way of being and limited created consciousness. I even once had a few dreams about this very subject, virtual worlds within the simulation matrix. So yes, these dimensions and worlds do exist, and as individuals continue to agree to restriction and self-limitation, then they position themselves in more rigid body forms and situations, and may find themselves incarnated in worlds which are simulated holographic training grounds in the first place, but are also worlds in which they are born into a manufactured virtual reality. Within that is created a simulation.